Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. The Scotsman newspaper wants government to take action against sea level rise. COP26 Climate Change Summit. Sea level rise is getting faster and faster. When the world act? The question as it's written doesn't make any sense, but ignoring their bad grammar, let's look at the actual data. Sea level in Scotland is only a few millimeters higher than it was 150 years ago. And it's a little bit lower now than it was in 1988 when James Hansen started the global warming scare before Congress. It doesn't really look like the Scotsman needs to be worried about sea level. I had the good fortune to visit the Aberdeenshire coast 5 years ago. It isn't clear to me why a 1 or 2 millimeter rise in sea level would be a problem for Scotland. They're being constantly pounded by large waves. But according to climate experts, another millimeter or two would be the straw which broke the camel's back. To be fair, the land in Scotland has been rising a little bit since the end of the last ice age. So let's look at what's going on with sea level at New York City, where the land is sinking rather than rising. Sea level rise rates in New York have been lower than any of the forecasts made by climate scientists. Sea level is below the extreme scenario, high scenario, intermediate high scenario, intermediate low scenario, and the low scenario. There's no legitimate evidence that sea level rise is accelerating. But the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change is exactly what it says it is. It's a governmental panel. And their mission is to report on climate change, not report on what's going on with the actual climate. Nothing in this article from the Scotsman makes any sense, but the most ridiculous thing is the idea that government can act against sea level. 1,000 years ago, many people shared the same superstition that government can control sea level. So King Canute took his subjects down to the seashore to demonstrate to them that government does not control the levels of the sea. Unfortunately, though, 1,000 years later, we don't have leaders who are as intelligent as King Canute was. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this clown show for the past 13 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.
Only man has the hubris to believe he can make the oceans rise without even trying.